it was just, I don't know, like I feel like I wasn't meant to finish it until this moment in my life. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Michelle Mahoney here. Today I'm going to talk about the first 3 books that I've read in January. Okay, the first book that I read in January, or rather finished in January, is called The Road to Christmas. I still had this one over the holidays, so I had to finish it up. It was definitely a good story. It was about how all this family is, traveling individually to go to one sister's house, but they're like all struggling in different ways. So like some are struggling, actually I'd say most are struggling with a certain type of relationship, and it kind of like brings them all back together and makes everyone see the light of like life is too short and things can happen, and it's just a way to like move on together, figure things out, don't leave anything left unsaid, that kind of thing. And it was a really cute story, and it brings, the Christmas cheer together. I would say that it wasn't like very Christmassy. You know what I mean? Like there was Christmas elements, but it was definitely not as like cheesy, fluffy, like Christmas magic and like glorious. Like there was like some Santa talk and things like that, but I feel like it wasn't as Christmas. So for me carrying it into the new year, it wasn't such a big deal because it wasn't like crazy Christmas related. But it was a good book. I would say maybe like 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe even like 3.5. It was okay. I would recommend it to somebody else that like wanted to enjoy the Christmas themes of it. But I'll leave it at that. So I also read 2 audiobooks this year, and the first one was Viola Davis's memoir. It's called Finding Me. It was absolutely phenomenal. I highly, highly recommend it to everybody and anybody, and especially if you like memoirs. I personally love to listen to memoirs on audio or at least when the narrator is the author, because I feel like they're speaking to you and it's very personalized and genuine, and it was just so, oh my gosh, it was so incredible. Like I really feel like I know her a little bit better. She's such a badass. She went through hell and back. She has gone through the ringer and she powered through, and I just feel like when people have those emotional stories and you go through a lot of things in your upbringing, you tend to really bring it forward in your adulthood, and you learn how to move on, and you become a resilient person. And I feel like I can relate to that in a lot of ways. And so watching her or listening to her speak about what she went through and how she just always felt like within her she was going to be somebody and move on, and or I guess like she just felt like, I need to get out of this. I would say it's probably an even better thing. She always says she didn't really like know how like the stepping stones came together for her. It was just like there was no other way. She was just like, I want to do this and I'm going to move forward. I'm going to be an actress and I don't really care what anyone says. I'm just going to keep doing it. And so there was just really never like a no on the table for her. But she has mentioned in the book that like when somebody says, what were the steps you took to get here? She's like, I don't really have like a step-by-step. It was more just like go follow through with what you want to do and like don't take no for an answer. So it was really moving and inspirational, and I love her story, and my heart breaks for her and all the things that she had to go through and all the trials and tribulations, and it was just a really rough upbringing, but it is really powerful when somebody like that comes through and gives their story to us, because we can either relate or be inspired or, get the courage to speak up with things in our own life. And I'm so grateful that she put her story out there, because I definitely feel like it empowered me in a lot of ways. And I really, really appreciate her for that. And I definitely recommend that audiobook for anybody. The next book I finished was not an audio. It was actually a Kindle version. I forgot. It was called Does It Hurt? I don't know why, but this book, for whatever reason, like took me a lot to get through. I had actually started it in August, and I just kept putting it aside. And when the new year came, I was like, girl, you got to finish this book, put it to rest. But I do think there was full circle reasons of why this book held on for so long. Like a lot of personal things happened in my life, and this book, there was aspects of it that I could relate to, and it was just, I don't know, like I feel like I wasn't meant to finish it until this moment in my life. And so like I understand the character. She was just like, running from her past and afraid to be who she wanted to be, and she just felt like she had no other way and nowhere to get out of her situation. And it's just like there was just so much going on for her, and I just feel like that's a lot of like what I've been through, is like running away from things. And or like trying to suppress things and like just trying to move on without it. But really, you just need to address the things in your life that are bothering you or hurting you or you're keeping secret or whatever, and like get them off your chest, because you like physically will feel lighter. But so like there was a lot of like heaviness to this character's story, and that was great. I liked that aspect of it. And I'm all for smut, don't get me wrong, but this level was a little bit different. Something that I'm not particularly into is the fact of how like physical it was, if that makes sense. I don't want to give any spoilers or too many details, but it was just like a little too much for me. And I felt like it goes with her character, with like her trauma and the things that she went through. So I get that aspect of it. But I think that's why it was like kind of hard for me to get through, because it was just kind of a little bit like, okay, I need a break from this. Like, I never thought I'd say that about a book like that, but it was weird in that aspect for me, but it was still like a good story, a good premise. There was like some supernatural things in there, or like elements, I would say, which I was kind of thrown off with as well, because that was just not what I was expecting. So I feel like if you're going to go into this one, definitely read the synopsis a little better maybe than I did, but also be open to the story. And I feel like maybe you won't struggle through it as much as I did. I feel like I saw it on TikTok so many times that I was like, oh, let me just read this book, but I didn't really read about it or think about it. I like to sometimes go into books completely blind. And this book, I feel like, was just not one of those books you could do that with. You kind of had to know what you're getting yourself into. And so, I don't know, for those reasons, it took me a long time to get through, but I'm glad I did. I really hate to, not finish a book, DNF. I don't really do that. I like to power through the books, because I feel like there's always something good to get through. There are some books that I have, stopped and put aside because I knew I wanted to read them, but maybe I wasn't ready in that point in life for it. And those are more like the self-help books or business books or things like that. But usually fiction books, I want to get through them no matter what. I can't really think of any books that I've like gone through and absolutely hated. Like, was like, why did I read this? Because that wouldn't really be fun for reading. Like, the whole point of reading is to have fun and enjoy the book and enjoy the story. So I do feel like if you're reading something that's making you feel like totally lousy, or like, why am I reading this? Then you shouldn't continue to do that. I haven't been down that road yet, so maybe I'll get to that point. But I don't like to give up on books. I like to follow through and read the whole thing no matter what, even if it's like not my favorite story. So yeah, let's see. I have my little reading tracker here that I'm reading off of. So I do have a couple of books on my list. For example, actually, The Power of Now is a book that I started reading maybe over the summer, but I just wasn't ready for it yet, because I had read so many like self-help memoirs, like business books, all those kinds of things. And when this one came around, I just was like, I kind of need a break from it. I needed to just like get into the holiday season and like fun, fictional, like fluffy books. And I just need to kind of put that away. But then I saw a TikTok either yesterday or this morning that somebody was saying this book like changed their life and they were so excited for it. And that's my referral person said the same thing. And so now I feel like coming full circle and coming into the new year, I think I'm ready for that book now. So I think that will be in the future, couple books that I will be in, because right now I'm reading a book called What Happened to You. Oprah and someone else wrote it like together. They co-wrote it. I'll get that in on here too, actually. So I'm currently reading that one. I also am reading right now a book called Find Her Alive, which I'm reading audio. And then I'll put that up there. And then I'm also reading this book, Their Vicious Games. This one is by Joelle Wellington. I don't know the authors of the other one, so you'll have to look at the pictures because I don't have them on hand. But I am reading 3 books at a time. That's just who I am. I love to have a Kindle, I love to have an audio, and I love to have a physical book to read. Because here's my reasoning, because I know some people have been like, how and why do you do that? So physical books, I love to have that I carry around my house, or I read in my office and things like that. Like, I love to have the physical book. The pages smell good. Like, it's nice to flip pages. I really do love to have physical books. As you can see, I have so many behind me that I need to get to reading. The Kindle is really good when you have to read or not have to, but when you're reading in a dark space. So if I'm reading at night in my bed and my husband's trying to sleep, I can read my Kindle and it's not going to bother him. Or, you know, just in general, like if I'm reading in like a darker area or I want to pack light, I can pack my Kindle because it's very like compact and it's easy that way. Excuse me. It's easy that way. And then my audiobook, I absolutely will at least always have an audio and one of the other of the Kindle or the physical, because my audiobook I can listen to when I'm driving or putting on makeup or doing laundry or doing dishes or any of the tasks that I need my hands to do. I can listen to my audiobook and still do the tasks. So for me, audiobooks are always on the table. I love them so much. And it's so funny because I was only doing audiobooks before for like memoirs or self-help books or business and things like that. But I wasn't really doing them for fiction. I thought I wouldn't be able to focus as much, but my best friend has been doing it because she wanted to get into reading, but she didn't want to read physical. She's like, I really just only want to listen to it in the car. And I was like, oh, I don't know how people do that. I don't think I can do it. And she's like, why? It's fine. It's awesome. I like it. And I was like, maybe I should give it a try. And I did. And now I'm like in love, absolutely in love. I was doing Audible for quite some time, but also if you don't have the Libby app, I'll put it right here, you need to get the Libby app. It is absolutely game changing. It's the connection to your local library. I actually don't know if it's like an all over the place kind of thing, or if it's maybe just in my area. I can't imagine it would just be in my area, so we should look into that. But this Libby app connects right to my library, so I can get Kindle books sent right to my Kindle, and I can get audiobooks all for free because it's the library. Like, it is like the greatest invention in the whole world. Because Audible, as much as I love Audible too, it does cost money. So I still keep my Audible like on, you know, the backside, because Audible will have the brand new books, whereas the library doesn't always have them available right away. So Audible, I can just click and get it and I don't have to wait. So it's definitely beneficial for audio. Or for Audible. But it's also really nice, like if I just have like a random book that somebody recommended that I know I can get to the library, like bam, free in there. Sometimes you have to be on a waiting list if it's a popular book, but brand new books, Audibles, bam, that's your place to go for sure. But yeah, so I'm going to finish up Vicious Games. I'm hoping tonight. I think I might have to go into it tomorrow. It depends on how much reading time I can get in. And then I'm going to try to finish up Find Her Alive. And let's see. What Happened to You in The Power of Now. Those will probably take a little bit longer because I like to read those a little bit slower and kind of take them in. It depends if I get sucked in. The What Happened to You, I think I'm going to get sucked into that one because it's like just so good so far. But I do have a lot of books behind me, and I still have all of my winter books in front of me that I want to get to as well. There's just not enough time to read all the books. But if you have any recommendations of books you think that I should read, please leave them down in the comments below. And you can also look for my link for all of my books that I have read, let's see, within at least the past year. And they're on my Amazon storefront, so you can go ahead and check that out. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And I will be putting up some more shop videos and personal growth videos in the future, because in this year of 2024, I'm really working on self-love and personal growth. And I really want to help people, you know, get out of their own way, build that strength, get away from the fear, things like that. I really want to channel some energy in doing that as well. So you will see some content like that as well. So if you have any questions, if you have any questions, that would be super helpful, because then I'll know what you're looking for and I can make a video about it. So any kind of question about anything in the whole world, put that in the comments below, or email me, and I'll put my email here. And then that way I can answer your question that way if you don't want everyone to know what you're asking. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.